Divorce is hard, and our silly brains can make it harder still. Because so often when we're going through it, our brains are bombarding us with these constant negative thoughts that we struggle to escape from. What I'm going to give you today are some very practical strategies on how you can overcome some of the most common negative thoughts that might be bothering you during divorce. So the first of those is, I'm not good enough. And this is especially true if you have been cheated on or abandoned or rejected in any way. You tend to feel like you're not enough somehow. So the first thing that I want you to do is gather up cards, emails, anything that you have from people in your life that is evidence that you are loved. And don't put them away. I want you to keep them in a prominent place for a little while, because that is a tangible reminder that you are enough. Work to build your physical strength. You know, when you just finish a big workout in the gym, you feel strong, you feel powerful. Use that, capitalize on that. If your ex was one who said horrible things to you, and you still have their voice rattling around in your head, take some time to refute their claims. Literally write down what they have said to you or what words of theirs are echoing in your head, and then list evidence to refute those claims. Sometimes seeing it in writing is enough to quiet those voices. Do some volunteer work. There's no better way to get out of your own head than to help others. And then finally, limit your social media exposure, because social media is designed to make us feel like we're not enough, to encourage us to go buy things to be enough. So right now, just log off. If your negative thought is, I wish things could have been different, the first thing I want you to do is start a daily gratitude practice. It can be so small, just a written journal or even an app on your phone, where you just take a moment each day and jot down 3 things that you're grateful for in your current life. Another thing that you can do is take a piece of paper, fold it in half, and make 2 columns. One, things that you cannot change, and the other, things that you can. And just start writing all of it down. And you're probably going to notice that the things you can't change, one of those is going to be the past. And sometimes seeing that in writing and then seeing where you can focus your energy is pretty powerful. Now, if you're one of those that has a tendency to reach out to your ex when you're wanting things to be different, make it more difficult to contact them. Take their number off your phone, delete their Facebook page, whatever it is you need to do, because right now reaching out to them is not going to be helpful. If your negative thought is, I can't move on unless I get closure, I want you to start keeping a journal where you start to explore some of these thoughts. It's really, really powerful, because sometimes we think we need that other person to give us closure, where really closure it's found inside ourselves. And once you start to explore those ideas, it's really amazing what peace you can find just within yourself. This can feel a little bit silly, but make your own closure ceremony. You know, we mark other important events in our life with ceremonies. Why not mark this one as well? You know, maybe you're ceremoniously burning something or burying something or planting something new. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something that's meaningful to you. Complete the following statement. From all of this, I have learned. Because once you've recognized how you've grown from this, sometimes it's enough to help close the door on it. If your negative thought is, I will never be happy again, I want you to start by spending time in nature. There's nothing like observing the natural cycles of ebb and flow to make us realize that everything has an ending, and that endings are always followed by new beginnings. Intentionally invite laughter into your life, whether it be going to a comedy show, or watching a funny movie. Intentionally bring it in. While you're at it, schedule some smiles. Make sure that you have things on your calendar that you're looking forward to. Have a conversation with an elderly person. It can be so amazing to talk with somebody who has lived through so much hardship, and yet they can still manage to find the joy in life. And it helps to give some perspective to whatever it is you're feeling right now, because they've been there and they've probably been through worse. And then I want you to challenge your thoughts. So sometimes after divorce, we had all these expectations of our lives. And once divorce happens, we easily think, I'm never going to be able to do whatever that is again. I'm never going to experience this thing again. So take a moment and write down what those nevers are for you, and then really challenge them. Are they true? Are you catastrophizing? It's so easy to do. I remember thinking I would never trust again. I would never love again. I would never be happy again. I would never be financially solvent again. And you know what? All of those were lies I was telling myself. Sometimes we ruminate on the thought of, why did this have to happen to me? And one of the best things to do, if this is your thought, is to throw yourself into stories, books, movies, it doesn't matter, fiction, memoirs, but immerse yourself in stories where people are overcoming hard things. Take a moment and think about your particular traits that are going to help you through this. Maybe you're stubborn, maybe you're resourceful, maybe you make friends easily. Whatever it is, what traits do you have that make you uniquely able to get through this? This is one of those thoughts too that can become sort of obsessive. It can become a little all-consuming. So do what you need to occupy your mind. Bring in some structure into your life so that you don't have these open spaces for your brain to spend too much time going down that rabbit hole. And finally, the last thought that many of us have when going through divorce is that this is too overwhelming. It's too much. I cannot make it through this. And one of the things you can do here is find a picture of yourself that was a time when you felt strong, when you felt powerful. Make sure that picture is visible to you. Then I want you to focus on a small step that you can take. Make it so small that it is something that you can accomplish today. And then do the same thing tomorrow, and the same thing the next day. And I know that sounds intimidating. One goal a day? Yeah, but make them so tiny that they're almost inevitable. And what happens is, as you start to make those little incremental steps of progress, it starts to build momentum. Build in accountability if you need to. If you're feeling like just giving up, make sure that you have somebody who knows what's going on, who can be both your boot camp and your cheerleader. Sometimes it's helpful to schedule something with a finish line. It can be a literal finish line, doing a race or something like that, or, a degree or certification program. Because what happens is that this healing feels so big and it's so amorphous. It's hard to define and it has no real end to it. So give yourself something that you can work towards that does have an end. And what's going to happen is, as you're working towards that goal, well, you're secretly also healing. Negative thoughts after divorce are normal. You've gone through a major loss. You're grieving your past. You're grieving the future you thought you were going to have. And your present is completely different than what it was. This is a major transition. And it's hard. But hard isn't impossible. And day by day, those negative thoughts become a little bit less powerful. And day by day, you find your confidence in yourself just a little bit more.